The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the dense forest surrounding modern-day Salem, Massachusetts. The air was thick with the scent of pine and the quiet murmurs of the town preparing for the night. I pulled my jacket tighter around my shoulders, the chill of early autumn seeping into my bones. My name is Abigail Williams, a descendant of the infamous girl who played a central role in the Salem witch trials of 1692. Growing up, my family history was a dark cloud that loomed over me, but I never believed in the supernatural aspects of those tales. That is, until the strange occurrences began. It all started last October, right around the time when the town was gearing up for its annual Halloween festivities. Salem always transformed into a tourist hotspot during this season, with people flocking from all over to experience the eerie charm of the place. I was working part-time at one of the local museums, giving tours and recounting the grim history of the witch trials. One evening, after the last tour group had left, I was closing up the museum when I heard a faint whisper. It was so quiet that at first I thought it was the wind, but as I moved to lock the front door, the whisper grew louder, more distinct. It called my name. Abigail. Abigail. I spun around, heart pounding, but the museum was empty. Shaking off the unease, I finished locking up and headed home. That night, the whispers invaded my dreams. They spoke of betrayal, of secrets buried deep within the town. I awoke in a cold sweat, the whispering still echoing in my ears. Over the next few days, the whispers persisted. They followed me everywhere, in the quiet aisles of the grocery store, the empty corridors of the museum, even in the bustling streets filled with tourists. I confided in my best friends, Sarah and Emily, who listened with concern but offered no solutions. They suggested I might be stressed or overworked. Then, one crisp October evening, the three of us decided to visit the old Salem woods, a place steeped in legend and said to be haunted by the spirits of those wrongfully accused. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, we ventured deep into the forest, laughing nervously and sharing ghost stories. As we walked, a cold wind swept through the trees, extinguishing our flashlights. Panic set in as we fumbled in the darkness. The whispers returned, louder and more insistent, seeming to come from all directions. I felt a presence, something ancient and malevolent. A figure emerged from the shadows, its form indistinct, shifting like smoke. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly fire. "Abigail," it rasped, "you have seen too much, meddled in forces beyond your understanding." Terror surged through me, and I turned to run, but the figure was everywhere and nowhere, its laughter ringing in my ears. My heart pounded, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The forest seemed to close in around me, the trees twisting into grotesque shapes. When we finally stumbled back into the town, breathless and wild-eyed, we were met with skepticism. Our friends and neighbors dismissed our tale as a Halloween prank or an overactive imagination. But the whispers didn't stop. They grew louder, more insistent, filling my mind with visions of fire and brimstone. One night, as I lay in bed, the figure appeared again. It smiled, a grotesque parody of human emotion. "It is not too late, Abigail. Embrace your fate," I screamed, thrashing against the bonds of my fear. My parents burst into the room, their faces pale with concern. They saw nothing, of course, only I could see the figure, hear its mocking laughter. Desperate for answers, I delved into the history of my ancestor, Abigail Williams. I scoured old records, read every book and article I could find. The more I learned, the more the whispers intensified. They spoke of ancient curses, of dark pacts made long ago. I began to suspect that my ancestors' actions had left a stain on our family, a curse that had lain dormant for centuries. Determined to break the cycle, I sought out a local historian and folklorist, Dr. Ethan Harper. He was an expert on Salem's dark past and had written extensively on the witch trials. When I told him of my experiences, he listened intently, his expression growing more serious by the minute. "There are old legends," he said, "that speak of a curse placed on those who falsely accused others of witchcraft. The curse is said to pass down through the bloodline, manifesting every few generations. Together, we devised a plan to confront the entity haunting me. Armed with knowledge and a resolve to end the torment, we ventured back into the Salem woods. Dr. Harper brought along ancient texts and protective charms, while I carried the journal of my ancestor, hoping to find some clue to dispel the darkness. As night fell, the whispers began anew, rising in a cacophony of voices. The figure appeared once more, its form shifting and malevolent. "You cannot escape your fate, Abigail." Drawing on the knowledge we had gathered, Dr. Harper and I recited ancient incantations, the words foreign and powerful on our tongues. The figure writhed, its form flickering like a dying flame. The whispers grew frantic, desperate. With a final defiant shout, I held up the journal, invoking the names of the innocent lives lost in the witch trials. "I renounce you and the darkness you bring. Be gone!" The figure let out a piercing scream, and then silence. The oppressive presence lifted, and the forest was still. The whispers had ceased. Dr. Harper and I stood there, breathless and shaken, but victorious. We had broken the curse, freeing my family from its grip. As we made our way back to the town, the first light of dawn broke through the trees, a new day dawning over Salem. In the years that followed, the whispers never returned. The town of Salem continued to thrive, its dark history a reminder of the dangers of fear and superstition. And I, Abigail Williams, found peace, knowing that the past had finally been laid to rest. But every now and then, on a quiet October night, I can't help but listen closely, just to be sure. The past has a way of lingering, and some whispers are never truly silenced.